Hey, what is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We've got some great news. Are Americans going to get crushed after some things take place, after Trump's tax cuts expire? Fourth stimulus checks, are they really coming? And the Biden administration is announcing more money to benefit seniors and disabled Americans. Yes, we've got all this news, all this official news right here in this video. We're going to be talking about several things, but yeah, the Biden administration announcing funding to benefit seniors and disabled Americans. The Biden administration announced that $37 billion in funding has been committed to benefiting seniors and Americans with disabilities, and that he's hoping to pursue and really make some big changes when it comes to the SSI program. Now, many of you guys that are on a fixed income, you definitely could say that, yeah, you've seen it, or maybe you haven't seen it. While Martin O'Malley has definitely come in and said it's not fair to make seniors pay back all that money in one shot or cut their benefits for being overpaid. So there's been a small changes, but not really a whole lot of changes that you can really see. I don't know. Let us know down in the comments below. More than $25 billion of funding has gone to really help retain, expand, and train care workforces, and to increase the pay and improve benefits for care workers. The other roughly $12 billion includes services for people with intellectual and development disabilities, offering family caregivers training and other counseling support, reducing wait lists and for home and community-based services, and providing housing-related services to Americans at risk of homelessness due to mental illness. The Biden administration has highlighted that several states that have been taking advantage of the funds, including Colorado, which has said to increase the base wages of 60,000 care workers with the funding. Maine has provided bonuses, and North Carolina has established a fund to improve recruitment, retention, and this is all in benefits for seniors. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services released new data that showed all 50 states are leveraging support from his plan, and Biden has signed many things and have committed $37 billion so far. That is up-to-date news, guys. And there were some other things that we came across that we wanted to show you, because right now, it literally could affect every single.
Definitely the economy.
Everything's just too much expense, too much to go eat.
Every time you go to buy food, bread, eggs, milk, everything has gone up so high.
Gas prices are ridiculous.
Who do you think is best fit to handle the economy?
Donald Trump. Everybody was doing well financially, and now it is turned upside down.
But things could get a lot worse in 2025 because President Trump's tax cuts are set to expire, and President Biden won't do anything to stop it, meaning tax hikes are on the horizon for many Americans. Here to break it all down is Charles Payne, host of Making Money on Fox Business, 2 p.m. Eastern time every single day. So let's look at the big picture right here.
Sure.
A lot of criticism of Donald Trump's America tax cuts, but you have a famous saying.
Well, here's the thing. President Biden can't have it both ways. You can't tell the world we're the best economy ever without acknowledging it's happening under Donald Trump's taxes. Would you assume that the same vibrancy that he says America has would exist if we shot taxes higher? Lawrence, let me just read one thing real quick. The Hill, this is from The Hill, 2021. Not really big Donald Trump fans, right? Our IRS data proves Trump tax cuts benefited middle working class Americans most. So if you unwind that, guess who it's going to hurt the most?
So when we look at the numbers, this is just single people, no kids. If you're making $30,000 a year, you're going to be paying $253. Right. If you're making $52,000 a year, $1,400. No kids again, $75,000 a year. You're going to be paying additional $1,700.
Right. And this is after coming through dealing with the worst inflation in 4 decades. Okay, this is on top of that. This is adding insult to injury. And this, whatever happened to the promise? Remember, no one under 400,000, which is such a nebulous number to begin with, right? Just you pulled that out of a hat. And by the way, since you started talking about it 6 or 7 years ago, inflation really means that's a number that's really 200,000 6 or 7 years ago. The bottom line is that this is an administration. There's a philosophy out there that believes, for some reason, that allowing us to keep more of our hard-earned money is giving us something. You're not giving me anything by lowering my taxes. I've earned that money already. It's not your money, government. You just can't stop spending because you want this giant, huge government that dictates who wins, who loses. And the only way you can fuel that is by confiscating money from people who worked hard to earn
And
it.
Charles, they're not just going to stop at single people.
Right.
If you got kids, you're a married couple. Let's say you're bringing $85,000. You're going to be paying an additional $1,600. You got 2 kids. The dream used to be 6 figures.
Right.
They can bring it in $165,000. As a married couple, you're going to pay an additional $2,400. If you got 3 kids, you're pulling it. You're both making 6 figures, $200K, $7,400.
This is the one I feel sorry for people. You done worked your ass off.
You're going to get crushed.
Listen, no, you worked your ass off. You're about 42 years old, right? Now you're making it. Your kids know you're making it. They don't care what the taxes are. They want this, they want that, they want this, they want to go to this school. So you've got Uncle Sam taking it on this part. You got your kids who want it. You've got your relatives who say, I heard you were doing really well, and you're trying to keep up with the Joneses. This 200,000 area, that's where the pain really begins. You wonder why people making 200,000 are miserable? They don't have any money.
Charles, folks have an opportunity to change this in the next election.
They really do. By the way, this is just allowing these tax cuts to go away. Biden's going to hit us with some taxes, particularly on capital gains. Listen, if you live in California, people are going to pay 59% of their income, total income, on taxes. New Jersey, where I live, 55%. Crypto fans, be careful. The anonymity of crypto will go away under President Biden's new tax plan. This is just the tip of the iceberg, folks. And by the way, it's so ironic. Somehow they think that your money belongs to them. It does not.
Spain making money.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Guys,
on Fox Business every day, 2 p.m. Eastern time.
guys, they think that your money belongs to them. I don't. And this is where a lot of that money's going.
Has been responsible for a brutal campaign against Ukraine. They've killed tens of thousands of Ukrainians, bombed hospitals, deliberately picked them out, bombed hospitals, kindergartens, grain silos, tried to plunge Ukraine into a cold and dark winter by striking their power grid. The Ukrainians have fought back, defending their country and their families with extraordinary courage. Many of you have been there with me many times. It's amazing what they do. I mean, it's amazing against such a larger military. Ukraine has regained half the territory that Russia took from them in this invasion. And they won important victories against Russia's Navy. But make no mistake about it, they're a fighting force with the will and the skill to win. The will and the skill to win. For months, while MAGA Republicans are blocking aid, Ukraine has been running out of artillery shells and ammunition. Meanwhile, Putin's friends keeping them well supplied. Iran sent them drones. North Korea has sent them ballistic missiles and artillery shells, and components and know-how to boost Russia's defense production. With all this support, Russia has ramped up its airstrikes against Ukrainian cities and critical infrastructure, rained down munitions on you brave Ukrainians defending their homeland. And now America is going to send Ukraine the supplies they need to keep them in the fight. This weekend, there were reports, and I find this amazing, there were reports of cheers breaking out of the trenches in eastern Ukraine. Probably came from one of your folks, a reporter or someone, I'm not sure where it came from. But that they're cheering as they watch the House vote in support for Ukraine. It's not like they don't understand what we've done, not like they don't understand how critical this is for them. I'm making sure the shipments start right away. In the next few hours, literally the few hours, we're going to begin sending in equipment to Ukraine for air defense munitions, for artillery, for rocket systems, and armored vehicles.
How much money do you think that's going to cost the United States? How much money do you think we're going to have to fork out? Let me tell you something. Where are they getting all this money from? Where is the number one place? It is payroll taxes. taxes that Americans every single day that are out there working, paying their fair share. This is where they're like, oh, hey, they need help. We got to help them. Here's another couple $1 billion.
This package is literally an investment, not only in Ukraine security, but in Europe's security, in our own security. We're sending Ukraine equipment from our own stockpiles. Then we'll replenish those stockpiles with new products made by American companies here in America. Patriot missiles made in Arizona, Javelins made in Alabama, artillery shells made in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Texas. In other words, we're helping Ukraine while at the same time investing in our own industrial base, strengthening our own national security, and supporting jobs in nearly 40 states all across America. The United States is not acting alone, to state the obvious. Our allies in Europe and around the world, who've constantly been asking me, are we going to step up? We're not going to walk away, are we? How many, and some of you have been in these international meetings with me, they're very concerned. Had we failed to step up, Lord only knows what would happen to the cohesion in NATO. They're also sending significant help to Ukraine. We're all standing together against this brutal dictator. As I've argued for months, this is directly in the United States' national security interest. If Putin triumphs in Ukraine, the next move of Russian forces could very well be a direct attack on a NATO ally. And you all know full well that invoking Article 5 of the North Atlantic Treaty would be the first thing that comes to mind, which declares an attack on one as an attack on all. If Putin attacks a NATO ally like he's attacking Ukraine today, we'd have no choice but to come to their aid, just like our NATO allies came to our aid after the September 11th attacks here. That's why we're supporting and surging support now to Ukraine, to stop Putin from drawing the United States into a war in Europe and in the future. It seems to me we should take a little bit of a step back and realize what a critical moment this was for the United States and for NATO. This is a historical moment. In the last 2 years, we've helped unify, strengthen, and expand NATO. Imagine if instead we had failed to step up now and to support Ukraine. All those gains would have begun to unravel. The cohesion of NATO would have been weakened, and our national security would have been undermined without any question. Putin started this war believing he could easily break the will of the people of Ukraine. When that failed, he changed his strategy a little bit, thinking we could break the will of NATO, break the will of the United States, break our will. Well, he's failed again. America stands with our friends. We stand up against dictators. We bow to no one, certainly not Vladimir Putin. Look, this bill also includes vital support for Israel. Just 10 days ago, we saw Iran launch over 100 missiles and drones at Israel. And because of them and other allies across the world, including from the region, no serious damage occurred. An unprecedented attack that followed years of Iran supporting Hezbollah, Hamas, and proxies of their own attack on Israel. They fund these guys. My commitment to Israel, I want to make clear again, is ironclad. The security of Israel is critical. It will always make sure that Israel has what it needs to defend itself against Iran and terrorists it supports. And with this aid, the United States is going to help replenish Israel's air defense and provide other critical events so Iran can never carry out the destruction it intended with its attack 10 days ago. But at the same time, this bill significantly increases humanitarian assistance we're sending to the innocent people of Gaza who are suffering badly. They're suffering the consequences of this war that Hamas started. And we've been working intently for months to get as much aid to Gaza as possible. This bill includes $1 billion for additional humanitarian aid in Gaza. We're going to immediately secure that aid and surge it, including food, medical supplies, clean water. And Israel must make sure all this aid reaches the Palestinians in Gaza without delay. And everything we do is guided by the ultimate goal of bringing these hostages home, securing a ceasefire, and setting the conditions for an enduring peace. There's more that this bill does, as you all know, the press here, including providing for support to strengthen even further our allies and partners in the Indo-Pacific region. as well as humanitarian aid to places including Haiti, Sudan, and Somalia. But there's one thing this bill does not do: border security. You know, just this year, I proposed and negotiated and agreed to the strongest border security bill this country has ever seen. It was bipartisan. It should have been included in this bill. And I'm determined to get it done for the American people. But I'll come back to that at another moment, another time. This is a reminder of what America can do when we come together, despite our differences. I want to thank everyone in Congress who made it possible, especially the bipartisan leadership. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, Leader Jeffries, Leaders Schumer and McConnell. They don't always agree, but when it matters most, they stepped up and did the right thing. And I mean this sincerely. History will remember this time. History will remember this moment. For all the talk about how dysfunctional things are in Washington, when you look over the past 3 years, we see that time and again on the critical issues, we've actually come together. It hadn't always been easy. But when it's come time to decide to rebuild America, we did it with the bipartisan infrastructure law, which is just underway. When it came time to invest in our semiconductor industry and technologies of the future, we did it with the Chips and Science Act. And when it came time to stand with Ukraine and Israel and help the people of Gaza, we did that as well. At the end of the day, most of us, whether we're Democrats, Republicans, or Independents, believe that America must stand up for what is right. We don't walk away from our allies. We stand with them. We don't let tyrants win. We oppose them. We don't merely watch global events unfold. We shape them. That's what it means to be the indispensable nation. That's what it means to be the world's superpower and the world's leading democracy. Some of our MAGA Republican friends reject that vision. But this vote makes it clear there is a bipartisan consensus for that kind of American leadership. That's exactly what we'll continue to deliver. I thank you all very much, and now I'm going off to make a speech at the hotel I'm late for, and I'm plenty of time to answer questions on this and other matters.
Can I ask a quick one on TikTok?
Guys, I can't honestly 100% believe what he says. If our Suzette made a very valid point. How is it that somehow the United States is always broke, but for some odd reason we can find all this money to send overseas? We can send it to other countries. Now, with our border in jeopardy, there's been a lot of talk how he's going to try to make it to where even John B. Larson said it benefits us that immigrants are here. And I'm thinking, what? What am I missing? Because apparently what they're trying to do is allow those people to vote so that the person who let them in gets the person they vote for. So I don't know, guys. It's mind-blowing to think about. It's mind-blowing that I don't know. But this is what everything that we're showing you is what's just happening, guys. Check this out.
Importantly, as you look at the various colleges all over the country and beyond colleges, because it's happening in other areas too. You see what's happening on the front having to do with Palestine and Israel and protests and hate, anger. Biden is sending an absolutely horrible message. Horrible message. He has no idea how to message. He can't speak. He can't put two sentences together. He doesn't know what to do. This is not our president. This is somebody that shouldn't be doing what he's doing because he can't do it. He can't do it well. We're having protests all over. He was talking about Charlottesville. Charlottesville was a little peanut, and it was nothing compared, and the hate wasn't the kind of hate that you have here. This is tremendous hate, and we can't talk about it because he doesn't understand it. He doesn't understand what's.
And how many feel like that's the truth? Now, while the Biden administration, they said last year, end of the year, we're going to help fund to benefit seniors and disabled Americans. That's the goal. That's the whole goal of what we're going to try to do. We're going to benefit seniors and disabled Americans. We're going to do our part. We're going to give them some money. And somehow, have you seen an increase in your monthly checks? Somehow they've managed to give the program more money without putting more money in your check. So there's a lot of things that people just don't agree with anymore. They don't buy it anymore. They're starting to really see that the system's not set up in your favor. And while they're funding to benefit seniors, disabled Americans, listen to this. Funding has been committed to benefit seniors and Americans with disabilities since he's really trying to launch this whole plan. The whole point of every bit of this funding is to help Medicare and Medicaid services and let all 50 states get support from this plan that Biden has pushed into law. And more than $25 billion has went to really kind of retaining and expanding, while the other part has went to really provide those services for those that have mental illness, disabilities, and giving people a better benefit when it comes to being disabled. So, while we haven't seen more money every single month, he has talked about trying to put, more money to the SSA program. Now, as well as you look at $37 billion. He just signed a $95 billion bill, foreign aid bill, and a lot of it's going to Ukraine. And and I understand, guys, listen, if you've seen videos, if you've seen anything, you know that they're in a pickle. Russia's getting help from other countries. So they're really leaning on the United States to step in and help them. But the problem is, it's really affecting our economy. It's affecting a lot of things. And people are wondering, when are we going to actually make something happen? Now, I do want to share something with you guys. I do want to share something with you guys because they had a meeting with the person from China, and literally this is just happening, guys. Check this out. This is easy.
Well, good evening, everyone. 10 months ago, I traveled to the People's Republic of China at a time of profound tension between our countries, with the aim of stabilizing the relationship, reopening and strengthening our high-level channels of communication. Over a series of candid and constructive conversations I had then with President Xi and other senior officials, I made clear our policies and intentions and identified issues of shared interest where we might work together. Those discussions, which were followed by additional senior level visits and meetings between our governments, helped lay the foundation for a productive summit between President Biden and President Xi in San Francisco at the end of last year. Our leaders agreed on concrete steps to cooperate on issues that matter to our people and matter to the world, and reduce the risk of misunderstanding and miscalculation. In the months since then, we focused intensively on advancing those commitments. I returned to China this week to take stock of where we've made progress and where more needs to be done so that we can deliver tangible results to the American people. That's been the focus of my meetings over the last 2 days with President Xi, with Director and Foreign Minister Wang Yi,
Listen, they're having their meetings, they're having their talks. Who knows what's going to happen? All I know that is there's been huge talks about several countries partnering together, several people coming together. And guys, people know that we're not at the best place right now. The United States kind of stepping in with Ukraine, and now this whole Israel and Hamas thing that has really run rampant, even in our own country, especially at our universities. And what will happen? I mean, what's the biggest answer? The thing is this: there's information out there that we know what the Chinese are doing. Okay, our president knows what the Chinese is doing, and experts warn that we've got to tread lightly. We've got to be careful because things could really escalate and cause things to happen that we really don't want to happen. I mean, who wants to go to war? Like, really, who wants to be involved in a war? Because it really affects our economy. It affects a lot of things happening. And it's just, I don't know, guys. Let me know down in the comments below. But I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for your love and support. Stay tuned. Joel's going to bring you some information here later this afternoon. We've got more videos coming your way, and we'll see you in the next one.